Hey everyone, my name is Donna, my pronouns are he, him, and tonight with the Open Hearth we are continuing our Bump in the Dark game, playing in the kind of Silent Falls continuity that we built up over the last while. We're in the middle of a mystery, a hunt I should say. So maybe let's get quick introductions from our players and their characters, and maybe a last time on Bump in the Dark line or two. I think the character keeper order may have changed since last time. So, Elle, I think you're first.
Oh no, why did that happen? Yeah, all my pronouns are she, her. I'm playing Ronan Cross, the Lance, who goes by he, him pronouns. What happened to him last time? Oh, he went on a little trip to the library with his buddy Gemma. We discovered that an archivist who was helping with a sort of VHS beta sorting project has gone missing. Um, and we found a bloody script that might imply that something very bad has happened to him, but we're not quite sure what yet.
Awesome, thanks, Elle, and on to Puckett.
Hey there, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Shanna Haste, who uses she, her pronouns. She owns a bar called the Dripping Dagger, if I recall correctly. Dripping, dirty, both are accurate. You don't want to drink anything that you find dripping in that bar. So last time around, well, she and Enoch decided to go on patrol and went looking for trouble and trying to find out if they could find any. And the trouble they found was a bucket with what looked like a bunch of melted videotapes in it that somebody had set on fire for some reason. So, he tossed it in the back of my beat up junker and, did the Dukes of Hazzard slide back into the window through the windows and headed back to the bar. And hopefully Jim hasn't drank all of the profit. You'll notice I said profit, not profits. Profit singular.
Sounds like a vampiric problem if they eat your holy seers, but that's a problem for another day, I guess. Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing Gemma Holwell, who uses she, her pronouns. Gemma is the shield of our pact, which is called the Remainders. The shield is the fighter and protector in the group. And Gemma has a background as a high school soccer goalie, an aspiring MMA fighter. And last time, I think that Gemma spent some time, obviously, with Ronan, and we were, she was anyway, buttering up her aunt, the librarian, to get in contact or to find some stuff in the library. And the new librarian, Anne Huang, had told us that a person named Rowan Wallace, who was also employed there to sort through these tapes, stole several tapes from the library collection. Yeah, so that's Gemma.
And on to Jose.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? I'm using some new earbuds. Let me know if the audio goes funky. I'm Jose. I use he and him pronouns. I'm playing Enoch Briarwood, who also uses he, him pronouns. And Enoch is a scion of the Briarwood clan, which has an important place within this community of Silent Falls across many decades. But he himself is on the young, unshaped, untried side. So he's in over his head, new to this monster hunting business, but feeling pretty committed. As Shanna said, they went out to find a bucket of plastic. And when they returned, Gemma and Ronan returned with the bloody script. I would say Ronan, with Ronan's encouragement, Enoch attempted to get a psychic read on the bloody script, and that didn't go so well. I believe he learned something about maybe a woman who lives in the forest who may have written the script. I can't quite recall. But I recall there was a cryptic phone call at the phone there in the bar, and I can't remember what was in it, but it had a very disconcerting effect on Enoch, and we left him screaming, maybe collapsed on the floor in terror. And I believe that's the last I remember before I passed out.
Indeed. So yeah, the curse of the cliffhanger lives on. You think I'd know better. So yeah, I think let's find out what you want to do. I mean, I think the loss of control that Enoch suffers is for the span of that telephone call. So like, he is a conduit for this message from beyond. Details to be figured out when you're putting together your theory about the hunt. But yeah, what's maybe paint a picture of the reaction to Enoch's collapse. Let's start with Gemma.
I think that so when Enoch this is at the dagger, right? I
Yeah.
couldn't remember. Okay. If Enoch collapses, I think that Gemma rushes over and tries to pick up his head and is cradling his head in her lap and kind of like petting his hair back, and she says, somebody pick up his feet so that the blood will go to his head. I learned this in fighting. So I'm assuming somebody does that. Once we've got him kind of like more comfortable, I wait to see if he will come around.
Yeah, Enoch, you come back around, and I think you have no memory of this event. Maybe a strange feeling in your head, like the stirrings of a flu or a sore throat or something like that. You just feel a little bit off.
So I don't remember the phone call. Do I remember putting my hand on the script?
Yeah, so you have that clear vision of this young woman in the forest, and I think we kind of established last time that because of your kind of Briarwood connections with the forest, you're pretty sure you know exactly or more or less where that was.
Yeah, so I mean, Enoch looks kind of groggy, and he says, "Wait, what happened? How did I end up on the floor? God, this floor is disgusting."
Yeah, we work hard to keep it that way.
And he gets up, tries to sit up. And he said, "You could drop my legs now, Ronan. It's okay. I can sit up now."
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Just my head hurts. Oh wow.
Oh, wait, I can help with that. And I immediately start pouring a couple of shots.
No, Shanna, no more booze. Jesus Christ. Remember I'm a light.
It'll help with the headache.
Guys, I saw something. I saw something when I touched the script. There's someone, I think the woman who wrote it is in the forest. I think I know generally where. We should go. And he tries to get up and then he wobbles and sits back down. And looks a little dazed.
I'll bring some peanuts over and say, look, seriously though, these should help a little bit. It's protein.
Okay. Eat some peanuts.
So I'm wondering, maybe Ronan, do you have an idea of what you'd like to do next? This mysterious telephone conversation, or this vision that Enoch relates about the woods? What's your next step?
I think Ronan for sure would like to follow up on the lead in the woods. I think he's kind of worried about Enoch venturing too far from home. He's not looking too good still, at least from Ronan's perspective. But yeah, I think he'll suggest that we head over to the woods. I think he's feeling some urgency given that we know about this missing person and all of that.
Yeah, so I know last time we had a discussion about swapping up the pairs. Do you still think you want to pursue two avenues, or all go into the woods, or what? Puckett, do you have any thoughts on whether you'd like to head into the woods with Ronan, or do something different?
I'm 100% on following Ronan into the woods. That's what I've been waiting to do. Like, it feels like we kind of need Enoch to go with us, since Enoch maybe feels like more of a representative in the woods. Maybe the woods would be slightly more welcoming.
Also,
So-
he like knows where to go, right?
He also knows where to go, yeah.
Look, that is a minor detail to my way of thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I figure we'll just wander around until we find something.
Yeah. I mean, one of our wishes from last week was to see Gemma and Shayna in action together. So
Wait, in action? Hold on a second.
I mean, I don't know what that means, exactly.
Did we
I
have
presume that means fighting something.
I mean,
Or
together,
arguing.
or
Did we have any other leads that needed to be followed up? Because I can't remember any. We went.
there's
Ronan
the
and I
missing
went to Rowan's.
archivist,
Yeah.
and then there's this person who's associated with the script in the woods.
Okay. So when Ronan was looking for a clue in Rowan's stuff, that stuff was in the library. So we do have, if I remember that correctly, so we do have like the archivist's address to go to still. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. But Shanna, you're thinking go to the woods with Enoch?
I'm thinking we should all go to the woods.
Yeah, let's all go to the woods. I'm down for that.
Okay. Does everyone fit in this battered old Buick?
Indeed, they just have to slide in through the windows.
Okay.
Because what is more practical in the Pacific Northwest than a vehicle with no windows, considering the amount of precipitation?
Well, we didn't say that there were no windows. We said that doors wouldn't open. And that the windows
Yeah,
had to be
the
rolled
doors
out
won't
to
open. You got to
enter.
go in through the window.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
you
a
may
slightly
have a
different
point there.
problem, right?
Yeah, but I mean, when there's 4 people getting in and out of the car, it makes sense to just leave the windows down for a little bit. I don't know, maybe I throw a tarp over it.
I think in the back seat, Enoch and um, good Lord, Gemma, are chilling because she's keeping an eye on him, and she says, "Man, your shirt kind of smells now." And she digs through her duffel bag that she has, and she says, "You should take that off and put this one on." And she pulls out a Red Hot Chili Peppers t-shirt that looks like it's probably a size too small for Enoch. You're welcome, Puckett. Enoch?
I hate you.
Do I have to roll to turn someone on here? Is that what's happening?
If you take the shirt off, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I mean, it seems like a clearly missing wedge of game design in Bump. That there is
Clearly,
no,
yeah,
like what are you supposed to do with that? I mean,
what do you do with that? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Enoch does take his shirt off, and this is before we get into the car, and you see his frame is kind of skinny, and he's kind of trembling as you step outside. So he's still not recovered from whatever happened inside the dripping dagger, and he puts on the new T-shirt and hesitates as he goes to crawl in through the window of the legal Buick. Is that what we call it? We decided it was Buick. And he might need a little help, but he's not being left behind. So I figure he falls into the back seat with one of you pushing him.
I think Brennan's in the passenger seat. He's got like one eye on Enoch, like looking in the rearview mirror. And he's like kind of absentmindedly looking for a tape to put in. And he's gonna put in Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex. And he just starts singing Under the Bridge at the top of his lungs.
Subliminal.
I will look at him and say, Ronan, I swear to Christ, I will fucking fire you right now if you don't knock that shit off.
He immediately turns it off, but like sort of looks sullenly out of the window. Like, it's a good song. He tries this every time he gets in the car with Shanna, I think. One day she'll let him play it.
And you'll know something is very, very wrong when that happens, right?
That's
Yeah,
our
I mean,
doppelganger test.
Yeah.
Someday the
We're
fellowship
fucking-
of men will fail, and what is it? Mankind will fall, but that day is not this day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so you head out to the woods. Yeah, I mean, past the lake to the state park, which is what we mean when we say the woods, right? So yeah, I think it's not too far up to this location that Enoch relates to you all. Enoch, I think I want to know. Obviously, you've heard all of the stories about the woods through your years growing up, and at least half of them are complete nonsense. But what's the story that's slowly? I mean, burrowing is an insidious word, but the story that's kind of coming to your forefront, the forefront of your thoughts, that happened in this place, the place you're going to.
Oh. I think the story that his Aunt Ruthie used to tell him was about the Mud Coven, and that they were associated with this area, and they had their circles in this area. They haven't been seen or heard from in years, but Ruthie did tell him that this was one of their spots for appearances when they did appear to people.
And like, what was the warning from your Aunt Ruthie about, stepping into these circles, or, anything unwise that you were warned off with, off about as a child?
She said, "Now don't you go fucking with those girls without an invitation. Only go if you got an invitation. Hear me? Or else they might get mad. And then I can't, there ain't no telling what's going to happen." That's what Aunt Ruthie said. Something, I'm paraphrasing.
Okay, awesome.
Just to clarify, when your Aunt Ruthie said those girls, she meant women in the woods, right?
Right, yeah.
Just double checking to make sure that, she wasn't talking about Gemma and I.
No. We're talking about the coven.
Yeah, so you make your way up to this spot. I think based on the kind of setup here, I imagine that you've all been up in the woods at one time or other. But I'm wondering, maybe an open question to the rest of the table, like, who feels the least comfortable here?
If no one else wants it, I'll volunteer. But if somebody else, like Al, I saw that you unmuted. Do you think Ronan feels more uncomfortable?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking he might, just because of the whole like Briarwood Cross history, uh, he might feel sort of like he's not supposed to be here, even though it actually doesn't matter. So in that way, he might feel like kind of emotionally uncomfortable. But I could see Shanna feeling uncomfortable for entirely different reasons. So please, yeah.
Why not both?
Why do we think Shana is uncomfortable up here?
Why in the woods? Look, it gets truly dark out there. Like if you're out there on a moonless night, cloud cover, it's the only way to get someplace darker is to go into a mine with no lights. I don't like that. I like some level of ambient light around me. It's not that I'm afraid of the dark. It's just that I like to have, even if it's just like a street light or something outside the window, some level of ambient light. That's all. That's a perfectly reasonable thing. I mean, humans evolved over like what, hundreds of thousands of years to like fire and like want to stay in the light of the fire by night. I mean, I'm just obeying my evolutionary imperative. That's all.
Which sounds like a perfectly rationalized way of describing your fears. I mean, what are you really afraid of, though, Shana? I mean, what what gives you the heebie-jeebies when you come down out of here?
It's a very natural quiet, but there's parts of it where the quiet is unnatural. Like you don't, I mean, you can be out in the woods and not really hear much besides like wind going through trees and maybe a bird here or there or a squirrel chittering at you because it's annoyed that you're there. But there's parts of these woods where you don't hear anything. There's no wind in the trees ever. There's no squirrels or anything living nearby. It's almost like there are parts of this wood where everything living or that makes noise has been told to stay away and it listened. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what would, because anything that has the power to do that has a lot of power.
So you're making your way up the trail, and it does get eerily quiet. Like there's something else here spying on you. And then, even though you're not getting wet or you don't remember the forecast, you hear the pitter patter of rain up ahead. And as you turn the corner, you see this cowled figure standing on the top, something glinting in its hand, a long steel blade. It's got its back to you, but you still feel eyes on you.
I'm going to elbow Enoch.
Oh.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I elbow Enoch and mutter, "This is your territory, dude."
Yeah, stay here. Let me try.
I think that Gemma says, "No, I'm coming with you."
I think we all should.
And Gemma
Okay,
is trying to
go
go ahead, sir. Gemma's trying to get in front.
I think Enoch will grab Gemma by the back of the shirt and say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I should go first. This is Briarwood territory. I know I'm young. I know I'm the newbie here, but my family has history with these people. We don't want to appear too threatening."
Man, you were just unconscious on the barroom floor. I don't know if you're up for this.
We're here. We got to go forward. Just stay with me, right behind me, and don't leave the trail no matter what you see.
I think that Gemma will reluctantly nod, and then she's gonna like grab a knife that she keeps. So she has her knife
And as you slowly approach up this slope, the rainwater starts to trickle down, and it's red with blood.
Oh, shit.
I mean, if you want to try to get a sense of the situation, maybe you could. Study is appropriate, I think, if you want to kind of hang back and spot for signs of trouble, if that's not too late.
Well, I think when the blood starts raining, Enoch stops in his tracks, and he just says, "Oh, guys, that's not a good sign."
Traditionally not the best of signs, it's true.
You don't have to be psychic to see that that's a bad sign. I don't know if someone wants to do a study move. I don't know that I'm particularly good at it.
I'll study. I think I'm the only person who has any points in it.
Not raining blood, just blood water trickling down the trail to
Bloodwater. Thank you for the correction. That's still not good.
I mean, yeah, it's still not good. I mean, less apocalyptic maybe than raining blood, but yeah.
All right, and this is an action roll.
Yeah, so an action roll with study, I guess, risky as normal. If you want to hang back, maybe it's study. If you want to try to get as close as you possibly can to get as much detail as possible, that might be desperate.
And I start with 2 dice because I have the 2 ticks in study, correct?
Yeah, that would be right.
Okay. So let's add some dice to that pool. Anybody want to offer a devil's bargain? Or, excuse me, a deal with the darkness?
A deal with the darkness. Okay. I mean, I think whatever happens here, this figure is gonna take it personally against Shanna.
I mean, everybody in town does. Anybody else have an idea?
I was just I was shooting the same direction as Dunna there. Again, trying to see if there's a good variant on it, but nothing's coming to mind.
You can always get some help if someone wants to mark one luck to give you an extra die.
I'll help you if you like.
Okay, sure. And I will go ahead and add a die for that deal with the darkness. So that's up to 4 dice.
That's 4 dice.
That's maximum, basically.
Basically, I mean, unless you get a 3rd dot in study, yeah,
Okay.
it's basically maximum.
Okay, rolling.
There's your
There's a
6.
6.
So, why don't you describe how you remain out of this kind of dangerous situation while gathering as much information as possible to see exactly what's going on, and I'll tell you what you spot.
I mean, I think the way that I'm able to do it, and this might also be the reason why it's going to be held against me, is that I ignore what Enoch said about staying on the trail. And I kind of go and get behind a tree that's, everybody's still in sight. It's not like I'm letting them out of my sight because, weird things happen in the woods. I might come back around, I might go around the tree and lose sight of them, and I come back and they're not there, or I'm somewhere else, or something like that. So I keep them in sight, but I go off the trail. And I'm kind of peering through the greenery and the ferns and the tree branches and leaves. And somehow I'm walking on like basically the forest carpet. The dead leaves that have dropped, the branches that have fallen, the nuts that are there. It doesn't seem to make a sound, which is really weirdly uncanny. So what do I pick up from this?
And then just an extra detail from Ronan. How are you helping? How are you backing Shanna up in this?
I think Ronan is sort of hyper vigilant at this moment, in part because of the whole Briarwood forest thing. But also, I think as soon as the blood red water started dripping off the leaves, someone looking at him closely might have seen for just a moment, like gills flaring at his neck right underneath his bookish glass. His senses are like in overdrive. He's not always like that, or else he wouldn't be able to hunt. I think maybe he hasn't transformed in a while. It's just he's pent up. But I think following those senses leads him to follow like close behind Shanna. And there's one point where maybe she's like about to step uh deeper in the forest in one direction. He'll just like silently put an arm out, like instinctually, like no, like danger lies in that direction, and sort of subtly steers her in that way.
Okay, awesome. So Shauna, you're angling around to get a good look, and something is not right about this whole situation. This rain is super localized, and as you get a different angle on it, you see this kind of unnatural light coming through the trees, directly at that figure. And you're kind of angling to get a better look, and then you kind of trip over these deeply buried wires in the earth. That is a clue, which I'll add to the clues tab in a moment. But then you just see this figure look at you through the woods, and it is Ollie Goggins under this hood with a machete, and he says, "Oh fuck." And then you hear someone say "cuss" from past him. And Luna Staples, who's the director of this student or low budget horror movie, comes storming out. She is the woman from Enoch's vision. And she like walks straight up to Ollie and says, "What the hell?" And like probably sees everyone except for Shauna kind of arrayed around. What's going on?
Oh, sorry. We didn't know you guys were shooting. Hey, Ollie. Um, uh, did we step into your shoot? I'm so sorry.
And like he is still kind of looking at Shauna where she is through the woods and say, like, "What the hell are you doing there? You could have gotten my shot." And I think Luna kind of waves him away and tells him to get ready for the next take. Enoch. Was it Enoch?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, we're doing a film.
You have permission to shoot here in the state park?
In the state park, in the public park.
Public, but there are rules. Enoch's bristling just a little bit about having all these cameras here in this sacred space to the Briarwood family.
Yeah.
And thinking about all the times Ruthie said, "You let outsiders in there when you're heading into a world of trouble."
Yeah, we're fine. We have paperwork for all this. Although, like, that's mostly true. There's definitely something that's not true about that statement, and it's probably because like the main number one camera has got like a sticker property of Silent Falls Public Library on it, right? So yeah, you do what you have to when you're a student cinematographer.
Student cinematographer, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe Enoch will kind of elbow Gemma and say, "These people don't know what they're in. We need to get them out of here."
So do we all realize that that Luna is the person from Enoch's vision?
I mean, Enoch could probably. I mean, depending on how
Yeah.
Enoch described it, maybe it's obvious, or maybe he whispers it. It's. I
Mhm.
don't think it needs to be like a something you
Yeah.
need to confer over or anything.
So what I'm remembering then is she's the person that wrote the script, the bleeding script, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, are they shooting on like to VHS? Or are they shooting to film?
Um. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
I just thought maybe
how
it was
cheap
important if
ass
they were
can
shooting.
this cheap ass horror movie get?
It's probably VHS. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
okay.
But you know, I guess the reason I asked was it was probably more important if it was, I thought maybe if it was VHS instead. Yeah, exactly. Rather than film. So I'm kind of curious about Luna Staples. I'm checking to see if there's anything I can really.
Yeah, so she is in the
Yeah, she's in the
NPC
NPC
tab.
tab. Yeah. Um, frequently used libraries equipment. I think that Gemma's trying to get a sense of if there's something else going on with Luna that connects her to, I mean, this weird script that she wrote that oozes blood. So if she hasn't met her before, then she's like, "Hey, I'm Gemma. You must know my aunt, Dot. She's the librarian. Looks like you have some library equipment here."
Oh yeah, yeah. We spend a lot of time in the library. Some great resources there. Um, uh, so yeah, I think you can probably what seems like. I mean, depending on how bossy Gem is going to be, compel or sway or maybe even connect. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think that she's gonna try to connect just because. So she reaches in to like shake her hand. Um, and while she's shaking hands, she's gonna kind of open herself to any kind of feelings that she gets from Luna. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Um, if anybody else has like a better way to kind of perceive anything about her than this, then please go ahead and do it.
yeah, I mean, um, one thing you could do is make like a group action. You could act together to get a sense of the production and of Luna themselves. If
Oh,
you
that might
wanted
be
to,
cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
yeah.
How
Maybe
do Go ahead.
I was thinking that maybe we asked to like just can we just watch for a little while just to like insinuate ourselves, and then in between takes we start talking people up, and I can imagine Enoch trying to talk up Ollie since he knows him, and find out if anything weird's been happening during the shoots in the woods. Uh, yeah, start using something like that.
It's a cool approach.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
How does
Um,
how does it work in this game? Did he change it? I'm sorry, did Jex rather
so
change it?
so I guess the change here is mostly that you don't all have to pick the same action. You can
Right.
all kind of dictate what your approach is going to be. And then it's the single sorry, it's a little bit complicated. I need to read it. Um, there's a couple of kind of save options, and then you can kind of cancel out misses, and then the lowest response left is the one that counts. Um, so, like, if you get a crit, you get to save people's asses. If you get a strong hit, you can get someone else out of their bad spot and so on. So it's a bit more involved than the normal group action that you might be familiar with from Blades in the Dark. But I guess it gives us like 4 mini scenes to play through. Right?
Is it still the single lowest remaining result determines the consequences for the group?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So let me just double check. I don't think there's any update to this in the revision. I can't see anything on teamwork. Yeah, there's no update to teamwork on the revision. So yeah. So do you think you want to do that, or do you want to do something a little bit more straightforward with like a main action and helping or setup or something like that, which might still work in the same way with kind of individual scenes or whatever?
I'll pocket.
Yeah, let's do the group action. That sounds great.
Works for me.
Yep. Okay. So maybe we'll start out getting an idea of. We want to have an idea of where everyone is going to go first, or do we just play it by ear and see how things snowball naturally from our first action?
We could do a little both. We could check in about possibilities.
Yeah, people
and
could
then,
definitely change their minds.
and then people can change their minds
Yeah.
as they go along. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we have a clear idea from Enoch and Gemma about what they want to do. So do either of you want to go first?
Go ahead, Enoch.
Me? Okay.
Sure.
So I think Enoch approaches like I said, between takes. Enoch approaches Ollie. They haven't really spoken very much recently. Like we said, they have a history. They've lived next to each other, and some experimentation went on, and that led to some kind of falling out between them. So it's a little bit awkward. This is, but Enoch is going to approach Ollie and say, "This is amazing that you're doing this, Ollie. This looks really cool." Says, "So what's it like filming with Luna out here, doing a horror film in the kind of creepy forest, right?"
I mean, it's not that creepy. It's just like, yeah, it's not creepy at all. I mean, it's just like you hear all these stories when you're growing up, and it's like, oh, it's so scary, but like it's complete nonsense, right?
Oh, so you didn't believe any of those stories, right?
What about the like mud people living in the caves? Like, come on. I mean, maybe when I was like 7.
I think I was pretty scared when I was a kid about it.
I mean, your aunts were creepy enough.
Yeah, that's true. They put a lot of creepy shit into my head, and sometimes it gets to me. And it makes me imagine shit. You haven't been imagining any shit, have you? You're pretty practical.
Yeah, well, like, I think your friend Ronan used to say I didn't have the brains to be imaginative.
Well, you never did rely on your brains too hard, did you, Ollie? You had other skills.
I
Still got your
guess.
looks.
Well, that's why Luna thinks I'm really crushing this whole shrouded serial killer thing.
So I think Enoch's just trying to see if there's anything that he has seen that is worth mentioning. And he's doing it by, just trying to connect with
Yeah.
him.
So how about you make a roll and we'll see, maybe you spark a memory from Ollie, or maybe
Okay.
so we get a sense for how useful his chat is here.
So I have 2 in connect, but I also have a special move called Trust Me. When you attempt to connect with someone or sway them by opening up honestly and making yourself vulnerable to them,
Yeah.
increase your result by +1 level. So that's about the result, right? Not about the
Yeah, so that's
dice.
like a mixed result to a clear hit or a clear hit to a crit, right? So
Got it. Okay. And then sure, why don't I go ahead and push my luck? We're never gonna get through all these, well, famous last words in 2 sessions anyways. So I will push my luck, and so that would give me 3 die. And I don't know how all the mechanics work, so it's hard to kind of judge because these are all going to get pooled, right?
yeah, so you mark 2 luck to give yourself an extra die.
Oh, 2 luck. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, 2 luck to give yourself an
All right.
extra die. So you roll 3, and then like whatever you roll, we bump up to the next level.
Okay.
And then we'll like maybe tell you a little bit of what Ollie has noticed that's out of the ordinary based on that result, but then we'll kind of save till we know what all the other results are before we kind of close it off properly.
All right. Why don't we go ahead with that? That's 3, right?
Yeah.
Where did I put the dice roller? I had it here a second ago. There it is. And all right. No, well, there's a 6.
Yeah. So that is a crit because we're bumping it up. So yeah, I think he's definitely like maybe once he gets like once you steer the conversation away from Ronan, his kind of nemesis, he opens up a little bit more. Yeah, and that's really helpful for
Everybody.
Saving everyone else's asses when they get into trouble. Because this is your thing, right? Trust me.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm harmless.
Yeah, so he goes, oh, well, Luna's really good at this stuff, but like she is super intense. Like, it's like if everything, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like we had to come up here at like 6:27 this morning because that one was when dawn was breaking, and we didn't like shoot for dawn. It was just like we have to be here when the alignment is right or whatever the fuck, you know. We've had a few of
That's
those
real
things.
precise, huh?
Yeah. I mean, like, and I think he like takes out his does he have a phone? No, he doesn't have a phone. It's like no one has phones. I mean, some people have phones, but yeah, it's like 6:27. It was like we got this sheet before when we started production about the precise time, and it's not like turn up at 6:30. It's like you must be here ready to go at 6:27. And it's like, whoa. I mean, I thought I'm supposed to be the psycho.
Looks like she's got you outdone, Ollie. Yeah.
Yeah, and this really weird stuff. I mean, and this film is like messed up. Like,
And what was the last thing you said?
This film is messed up. Like,
this film is messed up.
Yeah. So, like, he says that like it's an unusual thing. I've read ahead in the script, and you'd never believe who ends up being sacrificed on this holy altar in the middle of nowhere.
Who, man? Tell me. I don't care about a spoiler.
It's me.
It's not you, is it?
It's me. I end up being sacrificed on the holy altar.
No shit. You're gonna be a star, man. And internally, Enoch is very concerned about this, but he's not like letting Ollie know that he is concerned about this.
Yeah. What can you do?
What can you do?
Okay. I think maybe we should take a break and we'll come back to the rest of this group action. Let me stop the recording. Okay. Do we want to go to Gemma, or will we, if Puckett or Elle, if either of you have any ideas for going wider as a group, let me know.
We have a specific aim for this group action.
I guess finding out what's going on. I guess there's definitely a clue in mind here, but I guess it's finding out what the hell is going on with this movie production seems broad and generous to me. I think you can probably approach this however you want.
What was Gemma planning to do again? Remind me.
I think that Gemma would like to take the opportunity to sneak around and see if she can either eavesdrop on a conversation or find some materials or something that kind of point out what is happening specifically. Although Enoch got a pretty good indication.
I think in that case, Renan's going to talk to Luna. Though I'm happy for Gemma's action to occur first.
No, Donna, what's your preference for order here?
I have no preference. So you expect me to make a decision?
Just kidding.
Yeah, let's go with. I think happy to do a chat first with Luna and Ronan, and then we can see how much trouble Gemma can get into.
Yeah. In a quiet moment where Luna's not like, talking to one of her staff. Does she have other people really help it? Like, does she have a big crew here or?
I don't think there's a big crew. It's a typical small production, so a handful of friends and probably the actors who are not in the scene are also doing stuff. So yeah, pretty bare bones. Like the guy with the hose who was creating the rain is now turned off that hose and is doing something else.
Yeah, amazing.
And obviously that there's like bottles of syrup with food coloring in it that was the blood trickling down. There's a lot of cheesy horror special effects going on here.
Awesome. Yeah, Ronan sort of sidles up to her and, running the fingers through the long hair. Not really trying to flirt with her, but like he often flirts with people without trying, I think.
Well, she looks over at you, and I think you probably get a sense of her sizing you up without necessarily meaning to size you up, because that's Luna's deal, and maybe there's like an up nod or something like that that kind of invites you closer.
Yeah, he sort of runs over like a puppy. And he's like, "Hey, you're in charge of all this. This is pretty rad."
Sometimes it's like herding cats. I guess we have yet to see how it'll come out, but yeah, I've put a lot of work into it, so fingers crossed.
Yeah. Did you? I mean, obviously you're like the director, I'm guessing, but did you like write the script? And he'll say the name of this, like the title that was printed on the script that we
Okay.
found.
What do you think the name is?
Ooh, it's about sacrifice or cultists. Uh, it is called.
Do you want to ask the
Maybe.
group if you're stuck or?
Yeah. If anyone has a suggestion, please. Ooh, I like blood offering. Yeah.
Okay. Blood offering it is. Yeah, and I think you catch her a little off guard because, I mean, who would know the name of a movie in production, a small movie like this in production, if they weren't already involved, right? But yeah, I mean, I've been doing lots of research in the library, and I'm trying to work in all of these myths that are, it would seem like hard baked into this community, and yeah, it's kind of really been eye-opening as to how much weight people in this community give to some of these stories, these wacky stories from 50 years ago.
I think she'll see that Ronan's expression and demeanor like shift on a dime when she says that, and he just shakes his head and he goes, You shouldn't be doing that."
I shouldn't be doing what? Telling this town stories?
Well, I guess I mean, sometimes there's a reason why people take stories seriously. Sometimes they're not just myths. And also, when we found your script, it was bleeding. I'm not much of a writer, but I don't think it's supposed to be doing that.
Sorry, you find, I mean, in theater, bleed is something we talk about, but not literally. I don't know what you mean.
Um, did we bring the script with us?
I don't know that you have like walked up the trail with a plastic bag of this bleeding script. but if you want to take it out of your rucksack, then you could definitely do
Yeah.
this.
Let's say we brought it. I mean, we also don't want to leave it in the bar with Jim or whoever.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, so yeah, he takes it out. It's still wrapped in the plastic, but like she can see the blood like pooling in the like little scrunches of bag.
I mean, I don't know what you've done to that script, but I mean, yeah, she seems uncomfortable with this whole bleeding script thing. Like she doesn't really know what this means. um, but maybe with a role, you might get her to open up a little bit, or whatever. What do you think?
Yeah, I went into the scene thinking it was going to be connect, but this actually maybe sounds more like a compel to
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
Um, so by default, all actions are risky. In a group action, do we all have to roll at the same kind of level of risk?
Um, that is a good question. Um, I think it's probably assumed because otherwise, yeah, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense of how the risk reward would pan out.
Mm,
You could take like a safe action, try to get a crit, and like have no risk.
yeah, that makes
So
sense.
I think it's kind of um, assumed to be all on the same page. That's an interesting question. Might have to go to the PDF for that one.
Um, but we can do deals with darkness and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyone have ideas?
I have an idea. I think I think Luna might find these cheekbones impossible to resist, and has got to get you on camera, even if you don't realize it. So,
Even though I'm a crazy person who's shoving a bloody script at her.
well,
I mean, makes sense.
yeah.
I would fold if Ronan talked to me. So I get it. Cool. Yeah, I'll take it.
So
I've got an idea.
Ooh,
oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Because you managed to get a copy of the script and it's bleeding, she takes this as an omen that you're a good luck charm of sorts. And from now on, we'll be following you around, pestering you with questions about what you think about this scene or that scene. In other words, getting in your way at every single available opportunity to talk to you about the movie since you have showed such interest in it.
Mm. Is there a way to combine that? I know that's cheating, but
I mean, I don't see why you can't.
I mean, a general like stalker vibe, right? Where you are on this eerie film, right?
yeah. Let's
Oh
go for it.
crap. Does she start making like a docu something or other, like almost like Blair Witch, following you around with the camera all the time?
That would be really bad for him, but not for me. Um, yeah, I'll take any combination of those
Okay.
things. That's my deal with the darkness. And I will go ahead and roll.
My main intent with this is that, if there's something really, 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 really bad with these film images, then Ronan is a little bit caught up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Totally. I rolled a 6.
Okay. Have we had a not 6 result yet? I don't think so. So yeah. So here's what she does. She says, "Can I show you something? Can you stand right there next to the main stone in this circle?"
Sure.
And I'll show you what I mean. And
Yeah,
she takes
Ronan is very like hesitant here, but he'll do it. Yeah.
And she takes like camera 2, which is kind of a bit less high spec, or very low spec, really is the way to put it, and rolls like a minute of film on Ronan, and you can just wave and say hi, but it's and then she like brings you over to the small portable TV with has an integral VCR player, and like she just takes it out of the camera and puts it in, and she says, "Look at that! Look at that behind you. You see the shadow? There's something going on with this circle." I know I said no one really believes it, but there's something going on.
Yeah, I think before we cut away, we just see Ronan like kind of kneeling in front of the TV, like examining the screen super closely, and his face like completely darkens.
Okay. Awesome. Will we go to Gemma next, or do you want to hear from Shanna?
Bucket, do you have a particular thing in mind?
I do, but it kind of involves shutting the production down for the day.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to go first or not.
I'll go first then, I guess. So to clarify, Donna, nothing that has happened so far counts as a clue to be added to the clue list.
No, I'm gonna. I think given the rolling, it's very, very, very likely you're gonna end up with a clue or maybe
Right.
two if it's a crit, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So
I think that so Puckett, if you're okay, then I'll go. Is that acceptable?
Go for it.
To you? Okay. So I think that it's dark, obviously. There's some lighting so that they can shoot, but I think that Gemma is kind of taking this opportunity to blend into the darkness and kind of move around the set, looking for anything that strikes her as not ordinary, like strange sigils on the ground or on the stones, or if she can eavesdrop on a conversation that somebody might be having, those kinds of things. So I'll just push myself. That's 2 luck, right?
yeah, 2 luck to push. Do you think this is it like hunt, or do you think it's more like sneak?
I was thinking it was sneak, but maybe it is more like hunt. Yeah, I'm good with hunt.
Okay.
So it'll be 2 dice. So here you can say goodbye to your endless 6s. Okay, it's just an action. It's risky.
You're not looking for a devil's bargain, so are you?
I already pushed myself.
Okay.
So I'll let you know I thought about it, but I feel like let's just move because everybody's taking devil's bargain, so
yeah.
kind of like not do one. There's a crit. Crazy.
Okay.
I gotta get in touch with Robin Choi real quick. Hold on, I'm just gonna.
Is this die roller even working?
Yes, it is, Donna.
So what in particular do you think you're most interested in finding or spotting stuff at? Now, obviously, you kind of described it in terms before, but now that you have a crit, maybe there's something very specific you're looking for.
Maybe a guide to this information, or a guide maybe that Robin might. Robin, now we got Robin. Luna, might have, that she's working from, like the instructions about the times. Maybe it's a tome, because that's just a book. But if you say tome, it sounds better.
Yeah.
Or a diary or whatever she might have. That.
Yeah, I think there's like a production folder, with tabs and organizational deftness going on, with days, highlighted sections, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, there's like I'll say like a small, I don't know, like marquee or kind of open-sided tent where kind of a lot of the production stuff is being kept. So you find that there. And there's crew and cast funneling around the place, and you I think make your way in there without anyone really noticing you. And there it is, just sitting in plain sight. This production diary. Do you think you want to take it, or do you think you want to kind of leaf through it and see what you see?
I think that with the critical, I think that she like she stuffs it into her pants.
Okay.
or her shirt or her bag, whatever she's got with her.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, with a critical, you can probably just open it and, like, see the pertinent details without having to lift it.
Perfect.
And
Then
then
that
have
is what
no
I will
heat
do.
on you. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's do that then.
Okay. Or maybe there's like one of these plastic pockets in it with spare copies of the schedule, so you can just take one of those and then like spot something else. Maybe there's like a way to have your cake and eat it, right, without having a
Yes.
photographic memory. Yeah, and it is very. It's I think it's almost an order of magnitude more nerdish or more precise than Ollie had previously suggested. It is like there are compass readings and there's like there's a star chart and there is like all of this stuff which seems completely ridiculous unless there was some great big occult ritual going on, you know. Okay. Does that seem fair? Okay, awesome. Pocket, last but not least, let's see what Shanna is up to.
So you said it's getting dark, right?
Yeah, I think it was getting into evening when you'd had that, you know, kind of reconvening back at the bar. So I think it's probably, if not almost dusk, it's kind of in that kind of twilight, not quite twilight, but close enough. So there's not a huge amount of shooting to go on, and probably with this interruption, that might be it for the day. But you know, there might still be something going on.
Well, frankly, the best way I know of to get information from people is to get them drunk. So I'm gonna like walk out into the middle because I mean we don't want these people here. I know that much about this spot from Enoch, I think. So I'll just kind of like walk out and I'll clap my hands to get everybody's attention. It's like, okay, everybody, okay. Listen, it's getting dark, it's cold. How about we all head to my bar and take the edge off, open tab for everybody. And I am trying to compel the entire cast and crew to cut off work for the day and go drink.
So so I guess we could take this one of two ways. We could say,
Sure.
like this will get everyone back to the bar and then like maybe give you a bunch of people just talking to you over the course of the night, you know, so like it's a compel to just get them. I mean, the important thing here is to get the information, not to stop production or anything like that, right?
Right.
If I understand. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. And you're very good. You're very compelling, I guess, is the key.
I am.
So yeah, I mean,
I will listen to
command,
deals with the
swift
darkness.
obedience. See, I mean, open tab seems like something that would command
Swift obedience.
Yeah, yeah.
And lead a crew of allies to out of the forest.
Yeah. You looking to push yourself for a fourth dot?
I'm happy to listen to Devil's Bargains or Bargains with the Darkness.
I have an idea.
Okay.
You discover that a member of the crew is an ex of yours from when you first moved to Silent Falls, who happens to look almost exactly like Gemma.
Elle, have we ever played before? Because Mark's laughing because he knows that's exactly the kind of devil's bargain that I would go for in a hot second.
Well, good. It's there for the taking.
Any other ideas?
I mean, obviously we should be playing this in Pasiones because the twin, you know. I
Any
don't
other
think I can.
ideas?
I don't think I can compete with that.
Mark seems to be stunned. Jose?
I'm just trying to think what can go wrong having all these people drunk in your bar. And but I'm trying to make it a real consequence. I like the emotional punch of L's suggestion. Mine would be more
Right.
of a material punch, which I don't think will hit her quite as hard. So yeah, I'm leaning towards L's.
I gotta take that. I just gotta. There's no way I can say no to that.
What's her name?
It's Elle's idea. Elle, what do you think her name is?
I won't be
Gemma
stupid and
with a
say
G,
Emma or
right?
something. Her name's Sharona.
Oh my. Is that her real name or?
Maybe it's a nickname Shanna gave her. I don't know.
Yeah.
What can I say? She liked the knack. Marks. So that gives me 4 dice to roll.
Yeah, that's 4 dice.
All right. And the position is still risky, correct?
Yeah.
There's another 6.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean it's like you've never. I mean, no one has ever seen an amateur film crew close up shop quite as quick as you have, and you know, there's a couple of people jammed into the back of the Buick on the way back, and you know, I think people are just talking about everything and anything, and you all get a chance to overhear snippets and gossip and everything. I'm gonna say in the back of the Buick, Gemma and Sharona are basically jammed in together.
A quick question. Did I realize this before I got into the car or after I started driving?
I think it's like rear view in the car, driving, rear view mirror. There's Gemma. Oh, when did she change her hair? And then like change the rear view mirror, and you get both of them, right? I think it's gonna
Okay.
be something like that.
Okay, that is. Go ahead, just punch through my rib cage and rip my heart out.
I mean, the way to anyone's heart is through their stomach, you know, because that way you avoid the rib cage.
Yeah, and you only get the soft bits.
Yeah, tell me, Gemma, like, what is going through your mind now that you notice this essential doppelganger and you realize that this is the X that you've heard a little bit, but not an awful lot about?
I think she says, so you and Shanna, huh? Just like straight out there. Probably audibly enough that Shanna can hear in the driver's seat.
I try not to crash.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
I'm hoping that this is not that we're not about to have the same kind of car crash that ended with.
Ooh, that's rough.
Can't happen this time. You're in the back seat.
So, you and Shanna?
Oh God, no. Oh no. We're just friends.
Wiser than me, then.
I mean, she's just a lot.
We'll talk later. Okay, so that is like 2 crits, 2 sixes. I mean, I think it's a bit untoward to say you get anything less than 2 full clues out of this, because, you know, what do we think it is? So I think it's going to be obviously like all of the kind of fictional story that you've gotten already, but I think that let's call it a time warped video. This is the shot of Ronan at the stone circle, and
But I'm sorry, that's the shot of Enoch that she
of
took,
Ronan.
Of Ronan. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, did I
thought
say
it was
Enoch?
No, you said exactly what you meant to say,
Okay.
and I was confused for a second.
Okay, and I'm very tempted by an unfulfilled promise. We'll talk later, but that seems cruel.
Hey, if it's cruel to Shanna, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think I'm gonna go with the production diary. Obscure technical manual sounds like exactly what that is. So yeah, back to the bar. Obviously you can all float, but maybe you find out a little bit more about exactly what's going on, or maybe everyone just gets drunk and very friendly with this production company. Does anyone have any like scenes that they think must be on screen?
I would just like to say that between serving rounds of shots and beer to the crew, Rona is hopping on and off the little or maybe he's like on the bar singing karaoke. He's brought out the karaoke machine. And we see him doing a very spirited rendition of My Sharona, completely oblivious to what just transpired between Shanna and Gemma and Sharona in the car.
Yeah,
You know,
makes perfect sense.
on the one hand, I'm glaring daggers at him as a character, but as a player, I just absolutely love his golden retriever himbo energy.
I think that when Ronan is doing this, when Gemma realizes what the song is, she has like super wide eyes and she's looking between Sharona and Shannon and trying to see what's what's gonna happen here.
And I think Enoch walks behind Gemma at that point. He's got 2 beers in his hand. He's taking her over to Ollie. But he stops and he looks into her ear. He says, "Now it's destiny, you know, Gemma." And he keeps walking by.
And I think like I'm just like I have shot glasses set up in a row along the bar, and I'm just like going right down the line, doing kind of sloppy fills because I keep looking up at you, like trying to see if you're talking to Sharona or what the hell is going on. And just basically, if you haven't yet figured out that I'm interested, just this behavior alone would let you know, okay, yeah, there's something going on there.
So quick process question. So when we wrap this up, the hunt continues, right? This isn't a transition to downtime or anything like that, right?
No, this is I guess
just a narrative transition.
Just a narrative transition, yeah.
Got it.
Next
okay.
Next stage of the hunt. Of course, if you feel like getting more clues, you can. The kind of chief difference between this in terms of how it handles your theorize, which is called the showdown in Bump in the Dark, is that really you can get away with 3 clues as a minimum. You want to answer, you want to identify, so what's the creature or phenomenon? You want to explain, what does it want or why is it happening? And you want to contain, like, how can it be hurt, killed, or dealt with? And every clue you have that answers one of those questions, or if you have a clue that answers one of those questions, you get a die. So you basically have between 1 and 3 dice for your showdown roll. And that works just like a normal action roll in Bump. So yeah, so like you can, if you think like one of those is still not answered is a strong word, but not addressed, you could like look for a clue specifically about the missing question / answer, or you could start to theorize about what your showdown might be.
I feel like we might just want to pursue one more avenue, which is Rowan, the missing archivist or whatever he is.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just because that's kind of left open, and I think we know where to look for their home. Anyone else have any thoughts, or should we just kind of like start to put together some theories?
That feels right to me, because right now as a player, I have no idea how that, like, I think I could come up with a theory based on the clues we have, but I have no idea how to fit the archivist in, and I think narratively we should.
Right.
So I fully agree. Yeah.
I'm with Elle on this.
Yeah, and in terms of pacing, I mean, if we were to wrap up, start theorizing right now, we might not have enough for next time, right?
Yeah, so the there's still like a showdown where you the answer to how you would solve the problem. You still have to solve the problem,
but you still have to solve it. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's not quite you roll a hit on this roll and then you're fine. So yeah, but I mean, I'm happy to have kind of get some scenes of you relaxing in this with this crew in the bar, and then maybe like as characters with hangovers in the morning go off to find this archivist, right, or check on something else in the library or whatever makes sense to you.
I think that's the way to go, personally.
Yeah, we have to have some more scenes because there's things are waiting to happen at this party.
I mean, we need a showdown between Sharona and Shanna, right? That is what I'm hearing.
We need to see the conversation between Gemma and Sharona as well. I'd rather see that first, I think.
Well, that checks out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or Enoch, I mean, obviously Ronan is smashing it at the karaoke and at the bartending. Enoch is needling these allegedly more mature people than him from the sidelines. Is there anything specific Enoch is doing, or just like take it all in and look at the car crash in slow mo?
Well, there's a couple possibilities. I saw that Ronan chatted that he wants a little scene with Enoch too at the bar, which I'm totally game for.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, so let's have that first, and then
yeah.
we'll go to the car crash. Yeah. Is this just a 2E, or do you want like an NPC involved, or?
Ronan has the idea, so I'll let them lead.
I think just the two of us is fine. I'm kind of imagining Ronan, hopping off the bar. He's like covered in sweat. And he sees Gemma, Shanna, Sharona like all circling each other. So I'll go over to Enoch.
He's got his shoulders on the bar and is just like watching with a big smile on his face as he drinks his beer.
I feel so much better. You good? You need anything else?
No, this is great. This is great. This is better than TV, man. Can you believe it?
Yeah, is it just me, or are they like identical?
They're just like identical. It's perfect. Look at Shanna squirm. It's awesome.
Why do you think she's acting like that?
Come on, Ronan. There's definitely a vibe going on here, right?
Wait.
Shanna, Gemma, something in the air. And now this doppelganger shows up. And I overheard in the car that she is the ex that we've always heard of. Come on, you can't write shit like this.
So Shanna and Gemma, and then Sharona and Shanna.
Well, yeah.
I probably shouldn't have sang that song.
It was awesome. It was awesome. You should have seen Gemma's face.
Yeah, Brendan has this look on his face like he's really glad he didn't see Gemma's reaction.
I needed something light, man. After this afternoon, I needed something to clean my palate. My head's been foggy all day.
Yeah, I bet. So that was Briarwood territory earlier, huh?
Yeah. Was. Thank God it really wasn't someone from the Coven. Just a bunch of folks making a movie. I think we got out lucky.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just making a movie. And Ronan's like really close to Enoch, like lowering his voice.
Yeah, I don't think either. Luna's got something. There's something. She's up to something. Do you know that Ollie told me that the script ends with him being sacrificed? Somehow I don't like the sound of that. I know you have mixed feelings about Ollie, but I don't want to see him cut up and sacrificed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see anybody else die if we can help it.
Hey, but you stepped foot in the forest and you weren't struck by lightning or anything.
So does that mean I'm gonna get you down to the beach anytime soon?
Logical next step. the old guard is like, trying to control us. But this whole kind of territory stuff, it's just old school, man. And he reaches out and he grabs your hand and says, we're in this together, right?
Yeah, he like vigorously like grabs your hand. I'm imagining like the meme, the handshake meme.
Handshake meme.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, which
Never
one's the
mind.
handshake
I'll
meme?
post it. in the
Post
chat
it, I
after.
want to see it.
But yeah, there's like this like the strong sort of like solidarity type of like energy to it. It's like together. That's how we do it. Now, you and me are going to do a duet.
Oh shit, no.
He's like climbing onto the bar again, like trying to pull you up by the undersized Red Hot Chili Pepper shirt.
He's stretching, the shirt rips a little bit, but he does get up onto the bar. He's had some beers, and he's avoiding anything hard, all the harder things that Shanna has been throwing his way, but he has had a few beers, and he's laughing. And he said, "Okay, what are we singing?"
Do you know Under the Bridge?
Sure, let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
This
So
is
we
just
have-
not fair. Shanna, I mean, everyone is going to get kicked out of this bar when actual closing time comes around. There'll be no lock-in for anyone. You've ruined it for everyone now.
Ruined.
Okay. Let's
I'm
take a
just doing
break.
what Ronan tells me.
Yeah. Let's take a break. Okay, so let's assume Enoch and Ronan's duet is about to take off. I guess we want Gemma and Sharona on screen, right? Just in case the patrons of this fine establishment didn't think they were already seeing double.
I think that Gemma doesn't drink a lot, but her inhibitions, she's drinking a bit, and her inhibitions are down. And she asks, Sharona, so what happened with you two?
So Pocket, feel free to I mean, now or in the future, say, no, that's not the way I remember it.
Totally fair.
Or flat out say, can we do this a different way if you really don't like it? Well, I guess the way I was sitting on some stash for Shanna, and I was left holding the bag, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it wasn't, I mean, my folks paid for a fancy lawyer who got me out, and we, close brush with the law, I guess is how I'd put it. And yeah, I guess I felt a little bit abandoned.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's so bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, like I said, no, I mean, no lasting harm or foul, but yeah, bit of a sour taste in the mouth, you know?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I can understand like falling for her to begin with. But that's a tough outcome.
Why? What do you see in her?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. She's got, she's got a lot of attitude, and obviously she's really hot. But it seems like she has a lot going on. I mean, I don't know if it's like, do you feel like you guys your whole situation is resolved?
Well, she still hasn't spoken to me. I guess I got well, Indigo, but passed on some kind of, I would call it like a mealy mouth apology, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, Indigo's cool, so I guess I'll give that some credit.
So, yeah, it sounds like maybe maybe that's something to steer clear of.
You mean like Shana or drugs or all of the above?
Both, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I guess if you know what you're getting into, it doesn't seem like you're terribly surprised by that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
yeah. So if you know what you're getting into, then yeah, go wild. I'm not like jealous ex shooting you in the back for whatever.
Do we think Shanna has had kind of a long history of like lovers and exes here in Seven Falls, right? Is that right, Pocket?
I will just say that Shanna has dated.
Fair enough.
For the most part, that dating was largely casual. Couple of semi-serious things, but nothing lasting. Also, I was dealing with a cat that was misbehaving. What did Sharona give credit for?
Indigo. That Indigo gave Indigo what she gave an apology to Sharona on behalf of Shanna. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think as the conversation is kind of winding down, Enoch and Ronan have just finished their duet, and Gemma says, "Oh, I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do one." And she gets up and she starts flipping, and she performs "Rid of Me" by PJ Harvey. And you find out that Gemma is a really terrible singer, and she makes it worse when she tries to dance because she cannot dance either. And after the performance of Ronan and Enoch, you can't wait for her to get off stage. But she goes,
So like, does Shana see that Gemma isn't perfect? Is that, what's going on here?
I don't know. I don't know how Shanna would react to such a thing.
As you finish up and you're trying to step off the bar, I'll reach my hand up and say, at least it wasn't the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers.
They have given away up there, so just so you know. I mean, I went back and forth a little bit.
I would absolutely give it away if it meant giving away the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, the bass player wears pants with stuffed animals stapled to them. Jesus fucking Christ.
I think that maybe as she's stepping off stage and Shanna is like helping her, Gemma stumbles a little bit. And lets Shanna kind of catch her.
See?
Or not.
I'm here when you need me.
Face plant.
Unless you want me to roll for that.
Oh
No.
my god.
I'm totally okay with catching Gemma. But if you want me to roll, I totally understand.
No, it's like how comic or tragic do we want this to be, or is it just not very subtle by Gemma?
That's a good question. Is this Gemma's version of flirting?
It's possible. It's entirely possible. She smiles.
Only if you catch her, I think.
She's like, yeah. I mean, if she falls, if she face plants, and breaks her nose, then I mean, maybe that's flirting too. She just is so bad at it. But
so what are we stabilizing on? Catching or not catching?
You decide.
Oh God. You're making me decide?
What is it with you guys? With you and Donna, I can't decide.
So it's not a nice catch or an elegant catch. But it's a catch. That's
all we needed.
And I look at you and say, this is undoubtedly the cheesiest thing I'm ever going to say, but I like it when you fall for me.
Gemma laughs and then gives you like a little playful slap on the face and then moves back to where she was sitting.
And I'll just watch you walk. Hey, I said it was the cheesiest thing I'd probably ever say.
Qualifies.
Doesn't it though? And I think that I'll actually get up on the bar. And I'll start flipping through and wind up singing "Catch Me, I'm Falling" by Pretty Poison.
Is Shanna a good singer / performer?
Not for this. When she's fronting her band and they're playing, well, basically the Olympia version of Riot Girl. Yeah, I mean it works, but not for this. This is something that should actually be sung, not yelled or screamed. But Shanna is yelling and screaming it. So here's this pop song, and she's applying punk rock vocals to it. I would say at best, it's endearing to maybe one or two people in the room. And she's probably getting booed for it.
Are those two people Gemma and Sharona, though?
I hope that one of them is Gemma.
Yeah, absolutely. She's enjoying seeing her friend.
I mean, I'm embarrassing myself for you, basically. So, and after enough booze, like somebody, I don't know, maybe it's Ronan who basically does the mercy killing of shutting the song off. What do you think, El?
I don't know. I think Ronan's thrilled that you're you're singing something. Maybe this means you'll let the karaoke machine be a more regular fixture at the bar. So I think like while you're performing, you might like look over the crowd and see him. Like if you can bear to tear your eyes away from Gemma, you might see him like with the thumbs up, but also wincing a little, but like trying to be supportive.
He's not crowd surfing?
With this crowd, that might be a recipe for disaster. He's supporting.
So you see, there's your second person who finds it endearing, I guess.
Okay. Jose sent a message. His crashed, so he is rebooting to get back on. So he'll join us soon, hopefully. Okay, so I guess we can wrap up this night. Is there where do we see people wake up the next morning? I guess that's the leading question. Let's start with Gemma.
Yeah. Well, what are my options? Is there so
I can think of one.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just give this some juice here before it all goes away. So yes, where does Shanna make it back to her place, or does Shanna crash there at the bar? Gemma?
That's a really good question. Which do you think would be more interesting? Like we could wake up at Gemma's place, we could wake up at Shanna's place, or we could wake up at the bar in a back room covered with like there's probably a cot in back for people who need to sleep off, like Jim.
Yeah, with all the drinking, let's say that Gemma, she actually tried to stay. She was trying to stay mostly sober. So, they're at Gemma's apartment. Okay.
So how does Gemma wake up?
Daylight, I think, eventually gets to her through the curtains, and she wakes up. And I think sits up and is, if Shanna's still asleep, she is trying to decide if this was a good or a bad idea, I think.
I think as you're starting to decide that, you can see me stir and stretch like a cat. And it's like all the way out and like, fingers spread and arms stretched and then like above my head and then outward. And that's probably where like my arm makes contact with you. And I look over and I say, so that did happen. It wasn't a dream.
Nope. gonna go make some coffee.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm good. But coffee, you know. You want some, right?
I always want coffee.
All right. She smiles and leaves to the little kitchenette in the apartment. Jose is back. All right.
I mean, he
So
didn't miss anything, really, you know.
What was that,
No,
Donna?
he said, Jose, you didn't miss anything, really.
Yeah, nothing happened.
So
That's what they're telling themselves the morning after.
Shanna and Gemma spent the night at Gemma's place, it looks like.
Nice.
So yeah, where does everyone else wake up? That's the question.
Where do we see Ronan wake up afterwards?
Ronan wakes up bright and early in his family home near the beach. He doesn't drink actually, so he's completely fine. No hangover, no nothing. Oh no, not on the stone altar. That would be fun though.
And I think maybe you have dreams of a stone altar. You know, maybe and it's got kind of very vivid when you have them, and then slipping away. You know, minutes after you wake up, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, but I think we see him go out to the beach, and he has like some rocks in his pocket. We see him sort of stack up the stones, right at the place where like the flow of the water meets the sand. And we see that the topmost stone that he stacks in a little cairn has like a little painting of a whale on it, representing his brother Jonah. Um, and he just kind of sits next to it for a while and like looks out onto the sunrise. Um, yeah, I think he didn't tell the others or like remind them, as case may be, that today's the anniversary of his brother's death. So he's having a little communion with his bro this morning.
Do you think your friend Pigeon is there, or is this definitely a kind of alone time ritual for Ronan?
Oh, she might be. I don't know that Ronan would have invited her specifically, but like she's close to the family, like maybe she would know that he's doing this. He does that every year for the last few years.
Yeah.
And she might think to show up, yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's waiting like on the cliffs overlooking the beach with like a thermos or something like that for when you come back up.
I think Ronan smiles sort of sheepishly and says, yeah, you didn't have to come. I know it's early.
Yeah, well, have to isn't really how I see this, Ronan. I know you didn't have to come.
No, I did though.
Well, when we do things because we want to, that's when they can't, right?
I think Ronan sort of furrows his eyebrow and she says, like, we do things because we want to. Um, and he kind of, yeah, I think he sort of shakes his head and he's like, no, I mostly do things I have to. I mean, this is a lot of responsibility. He sort of gestures vaguely toward the beach and the lapping waves. But thank
Yes,
you for coming.
it's a point of view, right? I mean, we put these responsibilities on ourselves sometimes. We could cut and run if we really didn't want to do them. But anyway, that's probably a discussion for a different day. Have some tea.
Thanks, Pedro. I don't have to be at the bar for. No, he says actually I don't have work today, which again is not true. And we'll invite her in for a proper breakfast.
Okay. Yeah, is this like back to Roman's family house, or have they got like a spot in town that they hang out with each other at?
I think probably back at his family house. And we see that like it very much looks like a space that like someone else decorated decorated, right? Like he hasn't changed anything about it since he inherited it, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like a museum to his family, essentially. Yeah, he'll just make her some eggs and catch up and chat and try not to be too much of a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you want to bring up with her, or are you happy with that scene?
Should I try to get a clue?
You can always shill for clues. How what is your approach in this case?
I'm thinking Ronan probably didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and maybe he like tried to read some of the script. So he like kind of knows what the movie is about.
Okay.
And he'll mention his concerns about this film crew and what they're doing, and how they're using the sort of local folklore, and sort of tell her about what's going on and see if she has any insight.
Okay. So this this sounds like a connect, right? In terms of
Yeah, I think
discussing it
so.
with her, but also like kind of accessing your memories of the dream and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'll push my luck, I think. It's 3 dice.
Okay, so that is 3 dice, I guess.
I'm trying to think of a way I can make it desperate.
Well, I guess how deep are you going back into your dreams, right? Are you really trying to recapture that feeling that you lost?
Yeah,
Waking?
and you know what? I think in the script, in the part where the sacrifice happens, the blood offering, there's like a weird sort of like cultic phrase that's like not in English or any language that Ronan recognizes. And he also like as he's thinking about that, he's remembering that he was hearing like that in like these deep guttural whispers in his dream. And he like says it aloud. He repeats it again
Yeah.
to
What could
Pigeon.
possibly go wrong?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, this is obviously going to increase the impact of your action, but if something goes wrong,
Awesome.
So what does this look like? Is this just you like closing your eyes and trying to see the dream and then just like talking through it and then coming out with this phrase, or is there something more mystical going on? Or
I think, yeah, it's basically that. Like, and he sort of um he sort of like falls into the rhythm of the like lapping of the waves, and there's like something weird about, like his mystical connection to the water that's maybe coming in here. Um and he's totally burning his eggs while while he does this.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled a 5.
Okay. So you do it sort of, but there's a major consequence. Oops. That's what you really wanted, though, isn't it? Let me think. Yeah. So burning those eggs, your favorite pan is ruined. That is consequences. No. So let me talk about what you realize. I think in the script at that moment, and this is like that mystical phrase that you come out with. It is an unfulfilled promise. I'm gonna say in the script, the the context for that is that they are raising something, and it's like this thing's promised to return, right? This is the blood offering that will bring it back. But what it really means, of course, is to be filled in later with your showdown. The consequence, I think. I think I'm going to give you I think actually maybe I give everyone conditions. Not just you, but everyone. And I think this is tied in with the video shot. Maybe some of the others were caught in this wide angle for this moment as the camera angle was changed. And you feel this sense of dread, this sense that something has chosen you in a very not Buffy way, right? In more of an Ollie way, right? So I'm gonna suggest maybe for Ronan it'll be like exhausted, like that lack of sleep is like suddenly catching up with you as this kind of takes the wind out of you. But I think I'm gonna give everyone an option to frame their own condition in terms of like how it affects you in the moment. For no particular reason, although maybe you get a sense of this choosing as well at the time. Let's maybe go on to Enoch. and see how he wakes up, and then maybe we can dovetail that into the this new condition.
I think we see Enoch in his little studio apartment, and he's got his guitar out, and he's just picking out a tune on the guitar. Sounds a lot like Under the Bridge, but a more kind of lyrical, acoustic kind of version. And then suddenly we see his Aunt Ruthie on the chair across from him, saying, "What are you thinking about, boy?" And Enoch doesn't answer her. He goes, "You're not thinking about that cross, boy, are you? Our families have always had separate territories, and never are they going to come together. That's no good for us." And then Enoch picks up some music, some paper that he has to show. He kind of throws it at the chair, and she disappears. And then he hears something maybe in his bedroom. Oh no, it's a studio, I said. In the bathroom. That's it. A noise in the bathroom. And he gets up and he walks over to the bathroom. And then he has a vision of it's actually, at first it looks like Ollie, and then he realizes it's Ronan, gutted and bleeding out in the bathtub. And then we see him suddenly wake up out of a dream in his bed, and he's sweating. So I can imagine maybe afraid being a condition that he might have at this point.
Yeah, that sounds good. How about Gemma and Shanna? Are they still hanging out together when we see this choosing occur, or have they?
Walk of shame.
Are they still in the same place? I mean,
I think so. I mean, if you're good with that, Puckett.
Good with that.
Drinking some coffee and
Are you talking about your feelings or what happened, or are you just making idle chit chat?
yeah, I think that while she was making the coffee, she kind of thought about the situation, and she's good with it, and so she just kind of wants to and roll with it and see what happens. So she's really just goofing around, and she's not talking about her feelings or anything. She's just she's making chit chat. How about
Any
Shanna?
signs of affection or anything like that?
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay.
think between them, yeah, totally.
Okay.
Maybe they sit on the little couch that she's got, and they turn on the television, and there's this chase involving this white SUV somewhere out in Los Angeles that's on, and it's being broadcast nationally. And I think she
What
kind
the fuck is he driving so slow?
and she kind of
Why
snuggles.
are these cars behind?
She kind of snuggles into to Shanna, I think, while they're eating and drinking coffee.
Does she ask about Sharona and how Sharona got left in the cold, as it
No.
were?
No.
Okay.
She doesn't want the history, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so in that case, I think my condition is exhausted. Because it was a long day yesterday, and it was, if you'll excuse the Beatles reference, a hard day's night. Fun, but, not a whole lot of sleep. That coffee is barely to get to baseline.
I think I kind of feel like Gemma's in pretty good shape, so I'm not going to choose exhausted. I'm going to go with void touched. And I'm trying to think of how that kind of manifests. I think that the so the VCR is hooked up to the TV, and suddenly the VCR just kind of whirs, the power's on. Yeah, VCR is the right word, right? And a tape begins playing, and it is static that is like intercut with these really brief subliminal messages that not messages, but images that you can't even pause on. And she looks over at Shanna just to see if she's kind of seeing the same thing, and um Gemma begins to have this very, very bad feeling deep inside her corrupt soul.
You're seeing this too, right?
Yeah, what the hell? And she goes over and tries to hit the stop and the eject button, and it won't go. So
Pull the
finally
plug.
she unplugs it. Yeah. Jesus. I don't know what that tape is like. She picks up a tape case. That's something they used to have.
Mhm.
And it's from the video rental place here in town. And it was
Is
supposed
it
to
big enough to
be
have a blockbuster?
I don't think it is. And it's this is Reservoir Dogs. What the hell is going on?
You know, I don't know. That Tarantino guy, he makes some weird decisions about his movies sometimes.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be in the movie.
No, no, I don't remember
That's
it when I watched it.
yeah, that's weird. I think it's like it must be related to all this other weird video shit that's happening. We should I'll bet this is something to do with that guy Rowan. Yeah, Rowan, not Ronan. Let's call over and see if Enoch and Ronan can get together. We should go check out this guy Rowan before she gets any more out of hand.
Shoot some breakfast too.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I think that is a great place to pause till next week. Okay, I will stop the recording and we'll do our debrief.